This is a continuation with Janice Burks. So, Janice, I just want to revisit our discussion regarding your relationship with Emma.
Sure.
Now, there seems to be a lot of trust between the two of you. It seems that she confides in you quite a bit. Would you agree with that?
That's correct, sir.
Now, see, I'm finding it hard to believe that that level of trust can be built between two people that are simply just neighbors, especially considering the fact that the two of you haven't even been neighbors for all that long. Hell, I've got neighbors on my street that I've seen for years, right? And I still don't know their names.
I don't know what to tell you, sir. Our relationship is what it is.
So are you this close with all of your neighbors?
No. I already told you what my relationship was like with most of my neighbors. They keep to themselves and I do the same.
But not with Emma.
No, because Emma actually treats me like a decent human being.
So would you say that you're somewhat of a protector as it pertains to Emma? I mean, you did mention that you look out for her, right?
Yes, I do look out for her, but I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm her protector. But yes, I do look out for her.
Now, Janice, we both know that you are capable of taking a human being's life. That's already been proven, right?
That was a really long time ago, sir. And you know why I did that, so don't you dare try to make it seem like I'm some sort of monster.
No, Janice, I don't think that you're a monster. Come on, I don't think that. But with your track record, your desire to look out for Emma, and your knowledge of the abuse that she experienced, I mean, one could easily say that you may have very well had a hand in this murder.
This is bullshit. I knew you would use my past as some sort of justification for killing this man. I gave you the benefit of the doubt, but I guess it's my fault for being so damn stupid. Look, I had nothing to do with that man's death. Yes, I entered the house the day he died, but I told you the truth on that. I found him and he was already dead.
So how do I know that you didn't kill him? Why should I believe someone that already has a proven track record for disregarding the law? Why should I believe you?
Look, the truth is, his dead body wasn't the only thing I saw when I entered the house.
What do you mean?
When I first entered the house, I saw someone fleeing through the backyard.
Wait, there was somebody else at the house?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then who was this person that you saw?
I don't know. It happened so fast, I only caught a glimpse of them.
Were you able to make out any sort of identification? Race, sex, body type, anything?
Not really. The only thing I can really remember is that it seemed like it was a man. The build, the way they were running, it definitely seemed like it was a man.
Okay, so you saw a male fleeing through the backyard.
That is correct, sir.
And that's the only thing that you know for sure?
That's all I can remember, sir.
All right, Janice, let's put a quick pause on this conversation.
Sure.
All right. Well, things just got very interesting, didn't they? This is, of course, assuming she's telling the truth about seeing someone flee through the backyard. Now, it is consistent with the crime scene photos showing the back door slightly open. It would also give an explanation as to why it was left open. Maybe they were trying to get the heck out of there as fast as possible when they heard Janice come in. But again, this is assuming she's telling the truth. Even if she's being honest, it's pretty odd that she can positively state it was a male that she saw, but yet she can't make out any other details? Does that strike you as odd? Or maybe I'm overthinking it. What do you think? You think she's telling the truth about that? You think it was a man that she saw, or you think she's got something more that she's hiding? I'll head back in once I get your take on this. Let me know what you think, all right? Talk soon. Hey, so you think she's not telling the whole truth, huh? Can't argue with you there. I can't put my finger on it exactly, but she really didn't seem too authentic there. Looks like we both got that same read on her. All right, let me press her on this. We'll see if our instincts are correct. Let me head back in. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, this is another continuation with Janice Burks. So, Janice, you had just finished telling me that upon entering Daniel's house, the day of his death, you saw a man fleeing the crime scene through the backyard. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And yet you failed to identify any other aspect of this person, but yet you can for sure say that this person was a man, correct?
That is correct, sir.
So, Janice, does that make sense?
I'm sorry, sir, does what make sense?
Well, that this whole thing happens as quickly as you say it does. You notice absolutely nothing about this person, but yet you can for sure say that they were a man. Does that make sense?
I mean, that's what I remember, sir. I can't control my memory.
All right, Janice, look, let's cut the shit. All right, none of this makes any sense. None of it. Now, Janice, we have already talked about obstruction of justice. Okay, I can charge you with that very easily if I find out that you are lying or hiding information from me. And Janice, let's not forget that you are also still on probation. Now, do you want to see yourself back in prison? Do you want to say goodbye to this nice life that you got going for yourself? Come on, Janice, don't be stupid. You tell me the truth. You tell me exactly what happened inside that house.
All right, look, sir. I may have misspoken, but for the most part, I really have told you the truth.
For the most part.
Look, I heard a gunshot. I rushed over to see if everything was okay. I used a spare key to enter the house. The first thing I saw when I entered the house was someone fleeing through the backyard. I honestly didn't make out anything about them. It happened so fast. And then I went into the bedroom, and that's when I saw Daniel lying there dead. He'd been shot, and it was clear that he was dead. I panicked, left the house, and honestly just wanted to pretend like I never saw anything. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I didn't want to get caught up in this whole mess. Surely you can understand that.
Yeah, Janice, I can understand that. Yeah. All right, so what you just told me, that is the absolute truth?
Yes, sir, that is the absolute truth.
So you can't say for sure that that person you saw is a man. That's what you lied about.
I truthfully couldn't tell you whether it was a man or a woman. It happened that fast.
So then why did you lie about that specifically?
Well, look, I didn't want you guys to think it was Emma. I could see why you think she might have something to do with this. And I didn't want to bring any more attention her way.
But since you have no idea who this person is, then it is possible that it could have been Emma.
I guess so, but I highly doubt it.
Well, look, Janice, no offense, but your doubts mean very little to me compared to facts. You know, I really should charge you with obstructing this investigation.
But I'm not obstructing anything. I've honestly told you everything that I know.
You are walking a slippery slope, Janice. a very slippery slope. All right. Well, besides Emma, do you have any idea who this person could have been? Could it have been Charles or maybe Rebecca?
I don't know, sir.
Are there any neighbors or acquaintances of Daniel's that you may be familiar with who he maybe had, I don't know, disagreements or arguments with, anything like that?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
So this really could have been anybody that you saw.
Yes, sir, that's right.
All right, well, Janice, is there anything else that you would like to add to your statement today? Anything at all?
No, officer, I have told you everything.
Well, for your sake, Janice, I really hope you have. All right, we're going to take a final break. Okay, we are almost done here today.
Okay, sir.
Well, if she's telling the truth, then that would mean we have someone else to account for. We need to know who was in that house before Janice. And at this point, it could literally be anybody. I don't think we're going to get anything else out of Janice, so we're just going to have to roll with what we got and go from there. And with this knowledge, I do want to hear from Rebecca again. I got some more questions for her. Let me grab her and get back in. Talk to you in a bit. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. Now, Rebecca, some new information has come up, so we do need to revisit a few items and see if we can get some answers. Now, I have reason to believe that the morning of Daniel's death, somebody was seen fleeing the crime scene through the backyard.
Do you know who this person was?
Well, at the moment, no, I do not. But with the process of elimination, I'm sure that I can make a pretty decent educated guess. So let's look at the facts, okay? Now, with the security cam footage that we currently have, we know that both your dad, as well as your neighbor Janice, were seen entering and leaving the house that morning through the front door.
My dad and Janice?
That is correct. They were both seen entering the house that morning. Now, does that surprise you?
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Well, to be honest, it surprises me too, actually. So see, now this means that the only two people whose time we cannot account for at all are both you and your mom. And since we know that that rear door was left open, well, it does make sense that, someone fled in such a hurry that they just didn't have time to shut it. Now, this also means that if this person entered and left through the back, well, then there would be no record of them. So you see, someone who is smart, who knows the layout, also knows that that front door has that security camera, well, they would simply go through the back completely undetected. And since we know that both you and your mom have keys to the house, well, then it is possible that the person that was seen fleeing was one of you two. Now, here's my guess. My guess is that either one of you, you or your mom, opened up that back door with your key, you entered, killed Daniel, and then you get startled when you hear someone at that front door. You flee in such a hurry that you have no time to properly shut and lock that door.
That's assuming if someone was actually seen fleeing. Have you ever, considered that maybe the person who told you that is lying?
Yes, of course, sure. But, see, in this scenario, it does give us an answer as to why the crime scene was found in the state that it was. And if we go off of this scenario, well, then I would have to assume that either you or your mom killed Daniel.
That's literally insane. That's ridiculous.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
So why don't you tell me? What do you think happened? Who was that person that was seen fleeing?
But first of all, we don't even know if somebody was actually seen fleeing. And even if there was, it quite literally could have been anybody.
Really? It could have been anybody?
Yeah, really anybody. Look, what I don't think you know is that Daniel was a pretty big drinker. Like, he would hit up the bars in town with his friends. And sometimes they would wind up back at the house late in the evening and they would just drink until morning. I mean, hell, he would even bring strangers home. Literally guys that he had met at the bars that night. Like, he loved to flash his cash around and just be the center of attention. So yeah, it really could have been anybody that killed Daniel and was seen fleeing. But that's if that's what really happened. And also, you're saying that because my mom and I have keys, then we're the ones who most likely entered through the back door? Have you ever considered that maybe Daniel or one of his friends left the back door open? I mean, you said that you have camera footage of my dad and Janice. Do you also have security cam footage of Daniel? Because if he entered through the front door that night, wouldn't he have triggered the camera too?
Well, as a matter of fact, no. We do not have any security cam footage of Daniel entering through the front door that evening. We don't.
Okay. Well, like, there you go. Probably entered through the back door, left it open, and just forgot about it. The back door being left open quite literally means nothing. And it certainly is not something that should be used to make it seem like my mom or I killed Daniel. That doesn't make any sense. That's insane.
Well, yeah, him going through the back is certainly possible. Okay, I can't argue with that. And to be honest, I was not aware of Daniel's drinking and social habits.
But I mean, not many people were. Like, he was really good at making it look like he was a good guy.
So if I were to go around town and check out some of these bars and talk to the employees, they would be able to corroborate all of this, right? I mean, seeing as though you make it seem like it's a regular occurrence.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Well, that is interesting. It's very, very interesting. All right, let's let this stew for a bit. All right, we'll take a short break, okay? You hang here and I'll be back in just a few.
Well, this just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? This case is literally all over the place. It's hard to gauge whether she's telling the truth or not. And to be honest, with the amount of alcohol we found at the crime scene, it is possible that there was at least one other person drinking with him. And she's right. The security cam never triggered that night. There's no recording. It's very possible that Daniel was the one that left that rear door open. Regardless, we need to nail her on something here. My gut's telling me that she is not being completely honest with us. See what you can find and get back to me. There's gotta be something. All right. Thanks. Hey. Yes, great catch, my friend, great catch. These statements definitely contradict and most likely debunk her whole story about his drinking, because either both Janice and Emma are lying, or only she is. The latter seems more likely. Let me get back in there and get some answers. Oh, good stuff. All right, talk soon. Bye.
This is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. So, Rebecca, I want to explore your theory a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to you, Daniel was a big drinker. and he had some people over. They got drunk. They partied till the morning hours, and then someone there shot him. And that's who was seen fleeing the crime scene. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, but again, that's only assuming if someone really was seen fleeing, which we don't know for sure, right? But yeah, it's a total possibility.
Well, see, I find it funny that you would know that he had been drinking that night because, well, it's the truth, actually. He had been drinking pretty excessively. But see, I never brought that up with you.
Well, you didn't really need to. I mean, like I said, it was a possibility and it was kind of his regular routine. So I'm not shocked.
Well, I guess what's odd about your theory of him drinking that night is that both your mom and your neighbor Janice had completely different things to say about his so-called regular behavior.
Like what?
Well, according to Janice, she stated that your household was pretty quiet most of the time. In fact, she could not recall any moments of any parties or any loud behavior, things that I would normally associate with a bunch of intoxicated people at odd hours of the night, especially if this was a regular occurrence.
Okay, and so you just believe her?
And why should I not believe her?
I don't know. But you're believing what she's saying at face value, and you're questioning me as if I'm the one who's lying here.
That's fair. That is fair. But see, I also have a contradictory statement from your mom as well. Now see, your mom, she stated that Daniel hardly ever drank. In fact, your mom could not remember the last time that she saw him have a drink. So what, is your mom also lying?
Okay, so maybe Daniel didn't drink all the time per se, okay? Okay, but listen, I swear I have seen him drink a few times while I've been living there, okay? And every single time, it was when he was really stressed and he would always get completely hammered. I mean, he was obviously in a very stressful situation, given the fact that my mom was filing a police report against him, and he was put on leave from his job. So it would make sense that he would be drinking and maybe invite some friends over, okay? Like, I don't know. It made sense.
So why did you exaggerate Daniel's drinking?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just wanted to make it clear that he wasn't Mr. Perfect like everybody thought he was.
Yeah, see, I still find it strange that you would assume that he had been drinking when even you have now, stated that he didn't even drink all that often.
I didn't assume. Like I said, it was a possibility. Given the situation, it made sense.
All right, so just to be very clear, your theory of Daniel drinking that night is simply just a theory. This isn't actual first-hand knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. It is just a possibility of what could have happened that night.
All right, well, I guess there isn't that much more to cover. So look, is there anything else that you need to tell me? Anything important you feel I should know?
No, not that I can think of.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, well, Rebecca, we are almost done for the day, okay? So I just need you to hang here at the station for a little while longer, all right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right, we'll give you a break for now. Thank you.
Well, her theory about Daniel drinking that night is a little too spot on. It doesn't necessarily mean she's lying, but I'm not sure we should take it at face value either. I think it's time we bring Emma back in here since she has no alibi for that morning either. We need to know if that person fleeing was her or not. Let me get her in here and see what I can do. Talk soon. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Emma Richardson. Now, look, Emma, we're just going to jump right into things here. We've been here for quite a while today, and I have listened to a lot of different statements, some truthful, some not so truthful. Either way, though, I am starting to come to some conclusions, but there are still some things that I do need to clear up, especially as it pertains to you.
Of course. That's why I'm here.
All right, well, first things first, I do want to acknowledge that we may not have handled your initial police report as best as we could have.
I'm glad you see it that way, too.
I do. But unfortunately, it does give you more of a reason to kill Daniel. Now, perhaps you took matters into your own hands because you didn't get the expected results from law enforcement. Now, is that maybe what happened?
We've already gone over this. The answer is absolutely not.
Look, Emma, if everything that you filed in that police report is accurate, all right, I want you to know that I understand that you were also a victim in this whole situation, okay? I understand that. But see, when I zoom out and I look at the bigger picture, I can't help but have my doubts that you weren't somehow involved.
I've already told you the truth. I was at that motel the entire day. I never got anywhere near that house the day Daniel was killed.
Yes, you have told me that. But see, without anyone that can corroborate your story, yeah, I do have my suspicions. Emma, you have the biggest motive and justification for killing Daniel. You really do. I mean, after what he supposedly did to you, and then you go to the police and then you see that nothing comes of it, yes, I can see why you would take matters into your own hands, okay? I would understand that. Hell, a lot of people in your situation would do the exact same thing, Emma.
He didn't supposedly do anything to me. He assaulted me, and then he threatened to kill me. Those aren't supposed theories. Those are facts. They actually happened. So please be more respectful with how you choose your words, because how you're framing it right now is not okay.
You're right. You're right. And I am sorry. That was a very poor choice of words on my part. I am sorry. But look, it still does not change the fact that you benefit the most from Daniel's death, now does it?
I'm not going to answer that. We've already been through this. And my answer isn't going to change no matter how many different ways you ask me that question.
So, despite the fact that you have such a clear and strong motive, I'm just supposed to ignore the fact that you don't have an alibi? I'm just simply supposed to take the word of the person who benefits the most in this situation when they have absolutely nothing to prove that they weren't somehow involved? And let's also look at the fact that you were the one best suited to avoid that front security camera, right? You know it's there, and you know how it triggers its recordings. Emma, you could have easily gone around the back, killed Daniel, and then left. I mean, what is there to say that that did not happen?
Because it didn't. Okay. Why is it so hard for you to believe the truth? Why is it so hard?
Emma, because I don't know the truth. Okay, that's why. And until I know the truth, yes, I am absolutely going to question everything. And right now, you are telling me that I should believe you because you say it's the truth? Well, look, Emma, I have got news for you. Everybody that sits in that chair seems to always be telling me the truth. And I mean always. I literally get nothing but the truth until it isn't.
Look, I can understand from your perspective why you would doubt what I'm telling you. But I swear, I was at that motel the entire day. I only left early to grab breakfast. That was it. Look, I know there's nothing that can prove that I was at that motel, but there's also nothing that can prove that I wasn't. And I am telling you the truth. I swear.
All right, Emma, you know what? You are right. We are just going around in circles here. So, look, we are going to take a quick break, all right?
Okay. Do I have to stay here?
Yes, you do, please.
Well, I'm not too sure I made any progress just now. The main thing that we gotta assess here is whether or not we think she's telling the truth about being at the motel that day. Because she's right. We have nothing to prove she was there or not. All we have is her word. This one's a pure judgment call, and honestly, I'm not sure. Once again, I'm going to trust you on this. Look things over and let me know what you think. But take your time and make sure you get this right. I have a feeling that moving forward, a lot is going to be based on how we play this. All right, call me when you made up your mind. Bye. Hey. Okay, you're feeling like she's being honest. Fair enough. Like I said, I wasn't too sure myself, but I can see where you're coming from. All right, cool. Let's get back to it. Talk soon.
This is a continuation with Emma Richardson. Look, Emma, I want you to know that I believe you. Okay? I believe that you were at the motel, and I believe that you didn't go anywhere near Daniel's house the day that he was killed.
Oh, good, because it's the truth.
Of course. But now we do have to take your words into consideration as we try to piece this whole thing together. So what I want to do is I want to look at the facts. All right. Now, we have video footage of both Charles and Janice seen entering and leaving Daniel's house the day that he was killed. Right. Now, that obviously makes it very possible for them to have killed Daniel. But as you had mentioned, you don't think that's a possibility because, as you said, that's not the type of people that they are. Now, I don't know either of them, or I don't at least know them well, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, let's assume that you're right. So now, if you're right, that means that we can remove the two of them as suspects. And based on what you told me regarding your whereabouts the day that he was killed, well, then that means we can also remove you as a suspect. So using the basic process of elimination, and again, based on what you've been telling me, well, it seems pretty clear that Rebecca must have killed him.
No, Rebecca had nothing to do with this.
All right, let's try to look at this objectively, okay? Because, see, after interviewing Rebecca, there were two things that really stood out to me.
Such as?
Well, for one, she seemed to know that Daniel had been drinking excessively that night. Now, I can't for the life of me understand how she could possibly know that unless she had seen it with her own two eyes. And secondly, she seemed really set on exaggerating Daniel's drinking habits, which directly contradicts what you had told me earlier about him not drinking much at all. In fact, you told me that you couldn't even remember the last time that you saw that man have a drink. But you see, according to Rebecca, he did drink every now and then. And that's why she assumed that he had been drinking that night. So you see, with such blatant contradictions, it is clear that somebody is lying to me.
Look, I may have been mistaken. I mean, he did drink every now and then. I mean, I shouldn't have said that he never drank because it wasn't actually the truth.
So you lied to me.
No, I was mistaken. Are you aware how stressful this is?
Yes, Emma, of course I am.
Then you should understand it's not easy to think clearly under these circumstances.
Okay, so Rebecca is telling the truth. So he did drink every now and then? Is that what you are now saying?
Yes, and sometimes it was quite excessively. It didn't happen often, but, he did drink on occasion.
So what was his drink of choice? On these occasions that he decided to get his drink on, what is it that he would drink?
I mean, he didn't have a favorite drink or anything like that. I mean, it was just whatever he felt like in the moment, I guess.
All right, well, assuming that you were telling the truth, that still changes absolutely nothing regarding Rebecca, because she's the only person whose time is completely unaccounted for. And let me tell you, Janice had stated that when she entered the house that morning, she saw someone fleeing out the backyard. And you see, Rebecca, right, just like you, she knows that the front door has a security camera, and she also has access to the rear door. So you see, Emma, she could have planned this whole thing perfectly.
But that's not what happened. I can assure you that's not what happened.
You can assure me. Okay, well then, Emma, please, go ahead, assure me. Look, Emma, somebody is getting charged with murder. Okay, that is a fact. So if you have something to say, you better say it now. Emma, either you are lying to me, and you did go to the house that day, or Rebecca is lying to me, and she went to the house that day.
Maybe neither of us is lying.
So then who was seen fleeing out the back, huh? Who could that have been?
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't either of us. Did you think about that?
Emma, there is absolutely nothing that supports any other persons of interest besides you, Rebecca, Charles, and Janice. So yes, of course I have thought about that. And Emma, no, it doesn't add up.
Look, I don't know what more you want me to say. I mean, it's like you're intentionally backing me into a corner. I'm done. I'm not going to answer any more of your questions. And now I'm requesting the opportunity to speak with an attorney, so I'm not going to answer any more of your questions.
So now you want an attorney?
Yes, I'm done.
So that's it? All right, well then I guess we're done.
Okay, can I go home now?
You can go home soon. Look, you don't have to answer any more questions, but if you can just please stay while I wrap up the rest of my interviews, because look, I'm almost done. If you can do that for me, I would appreciate that.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Well, shit. I guess that's all we're gonna get out of her, huh? I still don't think she's being completely honest with me. And did you see how she backpedaled on Daniel's drinking? As soon as we start to really get some pressure going, that's when she decides to lawyer up? Really? Well, I guess we're gonna have to take what we've gotten from her so far and go from there, huh? All right, look, let's get Charles back in here and hope he's still willing to talk. I need to know what he has to say about all this. Give me a sec while I go grab him. All right. Bye.
Okay, this is a continuation with Charles Humphreys. Now, Charles, I know that you've been here for quite a while today, so I'm going to do my best to get right to the point, all right?
Great, I appreciate that.
Of course. Now, after reviewing everything so far, it really does seem that either Rebecca or Emma may have had some involvement with Daniel's death.
There's no way. And I don't care how you came to that conclusion. I'm telling you, there's absolutely no way that either one of them did this.
Now, Charles, I can completely understand why you would feel like that, okay? I really do. But we have to look at the facts, Charles. Now, as of right now, Rebecca and Emma are the only two people whose time is completely unaccounted for. They're also both very aware that that front door has a security camera, which could have recorded them. They also have keys to the house, so they could have entered through that rear door. But most importantly, Charles, they both have a motive.
What possibly could be Rebecca's motive?
Charles, Rebecca is aware of the abuse that her mom has experienced, okay? She went to the hospital. She saw firsthand just how badly this man hurt her own mother. Now, do you think that she wanted to see that happen again? No, of course not. So, what is the best way to make sure that that man never lays a finger on her mother again? Well, simply end his life. Problem solved.
That's ridiculous. That's your motive? Heck, you might as well consider me the one that killed him. I mean, I care about Emma. You know, I never wanted to see her get hurt like that again, and I would have done anything to protect her. So what, does that make me a killer too?
Well, possibly.
Oh my God, wow. Rebecca has her whole life in front of her. You think she's going to throw that away? And let's remember, she went with Emma to file the police report. She literally encouraged her to do so. She was trying to handle everything the right way. So your motive makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, Charles, you might be right, okay? You might. Okay, maybe Rebecca has nothing to do with this. But what about Emma? All right, let's take another look at her. Now, she's a mom. She seems to be a really good person who seems to care a lot about her daughter. Now, we know that Daniel not only threatened to kill Emma, but he also threatened to kill Rebecca. Okay? Now, you're a parent. Wouldn't you want to protect your child in a situation like that?
I mean, of course I would. I mean, she's my daughter too. So I'm in the same exact situation as Emma. But I'm not going to kill someone.
Well, Charles, maybe not. Okay, but the difference between you and Emma is that at least your time is somewhat accounted for because we have you on video. But let's say that Emma did not kill Daniel. All right? Well, then we got to go back to Rebecca. And if Emma, or even you for that matter, knew that Rebecca had killed Daniel, well, wouldn't you do your absolute best to protect her? Wouldn't you lie and do everything that you could to cover it up?
No, I wouldn't, and neither would Emma.
Come on, Charles. I find that very hard to believe, man.
Look, I mean, you spent time with both Rebecca and Emma today, asking them all sorts of questions. I mean, you're a detective. After spending all that time with them, do you think either one of them is capable of murder? I mean, do you believe that?
Truthfully, Charles, I don't know.
Well, regardless of what you think, the answer is no. It's a 100% no.
Well, Charles, since you seem to be so adamant about it not being Rebecca or Emma, why don't you tell me, what do you think happened?
I already told you what I think.
Well, Charles, please, refresh my memory.
I brought it up earlier today, and you seemed pretty dismissive of it then. But I still think this guy might have taken his own life. Maybe there is no actual murder.
And you believe that?
Yes, I do. I mean, he was under a lot of stress, and we know he wasn't the most mentally stable person. I mean, look what he did to Emma. Like, no sane person reacts that way. And Emma also told me he was put on leave by his firm. I mean, I'm pretty sure that whole job was his identity. That's got to be devastating. Maybe this was all too much for him to handle. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I believe suicide is exactly what happened.
Okay, Charles, fair enough.
Now, another possibility, as much as I hate to say it, is Janice may have been involved.
And why would you say that?
Look, we both know about her past. I mean, she's already killed one guy that was an abuser. And I don't want to throw any suspicion her way, but I got to be honest. The few times that I did meet her, something seemed off. I mean, her attitude towards me seemed pretty off-putting, especially considering she hardly even knew me. I mean, it's like instinctually she had something against me because I'm a man. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what it felt like.
So, Charles, how did you get to know Janice?
Emma talked to me mostly about her. Like I said, I met her a few times in person, but we didn't chat much, mostly because she just seemed bothered by my presence. Like I said, she just seemed off.
So, Charles, is this pure speculation? Because it seems like it might be a bit more than that.
I don't know. All I'm saying is you shouldn't be so quick to dismiss Janice.
All right, well, Charles, that is noted. Look, we're going to take a short break, all right? I want to mull this over, okay?
All right.
All right.
Okay, he's being real defensive of Rebecca and Emma. But I honestly can't blame him. I do have to admit, I can't picture either Rebecca or Emma being capable of taking someone's life. But as I told him earlier, crazier things have happened for sure. And what do you think about his Janice theory? He seems pretty convinced that Janice may have been involved. But why bring it up now? Is it to protect himself and his family? Or is there actually some legitimacy to his theory? Well, either way, let's see if we can trip him up. To be honest, I'm pretty drained. All these interviews today are starting to blur together. Work your magic one last time. See if you can find any evidence that pokes holes in his statement. I know we gotta have something. All right, give me a call when you got something. Talk soon. Hey. Well, shit. I feel like an idiot. Now that you point these things out, it's pretty obvious. I really can't believe I spaced on the autopsy report. Like I said, I'm pretty wiped. I'm definitely not at 100%. Good thing I got you working with me, though, right? Look, I know I've said this before, but I really do appreciate you. I mean that. You know, I gotta say, we're a pretty damn good team. All right, let me get back to it. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Charles Humphreys. Now, Charles, I want to dig right back into this, all right? I want to go over a few things that you had stated earlier, okay?
Sure.
Now, I want to revisit this theory of a possible suicide. Now, that has been mentioned a few times today, and I'm realizing that I've only shared secondhand information. So, Charles, I want you to take a look at this, all right? Now, that is an official copy of the autopsy report. Now, I want you to look at the section labeled Final Diagnosis, right there. Now, you'll see there that it states that suicide is considered highly unlikely.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't a suicide. I'm still not 100% convinced, though.
Well, to be fair, Charles, you are not the person that needs to be convinced. Now, regardless, let's move on to your other theory, okay? And that being Janice and her possible involvement. Now, I have to admit, I did have some similar thoughts to you when I spoke with Janice earlier today. Now, I didn't get, any weird vibes or anything like that, but her past certainly does not do her any favors, especially in this situation. And then after hearing you mention the way that she acted when the two of you met, well, yeah, that did raise my suspicions a bit more. But see, Charles, there is a problem here.
And that is?
Well, see, according to Janice, the two of you never actually met. In fact, she claims that she doesn't know anything about you.
And you believe her?
Charles, I don't know what to believe, all right? But her statement does seem to contradict yours, so someone is lying to me. Now, she also stated that she saw someone flee the house through the back door at the exact same time that she entered the house.
So she was the person that entered the house before me, and that's why the door was unlocked?
That is correct.
Well, who did she see?
Well, see, that's the thing, all right? She wasn't able to make out who that person was, so unfortunately, that part is still a mystery. Now, Charles, there is one other thing to note here, all right? Somehow, Rebecca seemed to know that Daniel had been drinking very heavily that day, all right? Now, that is not typical behavior for Daniel, okay? At least based on what I've gathered so far. Now, she did say that this was just an assumption, all right? But I gotta say, that assumption was pretty damn accurate. I mean, hell, you were there, right? You saw all that booze. So, what do you think? Do you still believe in this Janice theory?
Yes, I do. Even more so now. I think she played you big time.
Really? And why would you say that?
Look, as you just mentioned, Janice went in the house before me. I mean, she could literally say anything she wants to clear her name. There are no witnesses. I mean, she could be lying about seeing someone flee. I mean, what proof do you have that any of this actually happened? What, Janice's word? Do you think a convicted murderer is going to tell the truth? Of course not. They're going to lie about everything. I mean, why in the world would you believe anything that she has to say? I mean, what has she done to earn your trust?
Well, honestly, nothing. But if she did kill Daniel, then why are her prints not on that gun?
She could have easily wiped the gun down and placed it in Daniel's hand. I mean, did you find anybody else's prints on the gun?
No, we did not.
Well, there you go.
All right, your theory about Janice is certainly a possibility, okay? Maybe she is lying. But see, if we go with that, then we really do need to explore all possibilities, Charles, and that includes you.
You already know that Janice went in the house before me, and you know that I have absolutely nothing to do with this.
Do I really know that, though?
Yes, you do.
See, Charles, I don't know. Okay, I don't know, because we are both aware that you are very capable of putting on a very good performance.
What are you talking about?
Charles, I am talking about that little performance that you put on for the security camera, in which you tried to make it seem like the reason that you were at Daniel's house was because you were there to pick up some of Emma's belongings. Now, what is there to say that you weren't the one that entered through the back door? I mean, you could have easily gotten the keys from either Emma or Rebecca, right? You go inside the house, okay? You kill Daniel. You're the one that wipes down that gun. You put the gun in Daniel's hand to try to make it seem like a suicide, and then that's when you hear someone at that front door. Now, in a panicked state, you flee, okay? And you're in such a rush that you forget to shut that back door. Now, here's the good part. You later come back to the house, all right? You come back to make it seem like you were there for a completely different reason. Now, you know that that front door has the security camera and it's going to record you, which is great for you because now we can account for your time. So you enter the house, you come back out with some of Emma's belongings, hence making it seem like that was the reason for your visit. So yeah, Charles, maybe you are right. Maybe Emma and Rebecca have nothing to do with this. Maybe they are simply trying to protect you. So what do you think about that theory, Charles?
I think you have an incredible imagination. And I think you'll make up whatever shit you have to close this case. That's what I think. But I am done cooperating with you. I'll speak to you again when I have an attorney. But for now, we're done.
Charles, did you kill Daniel?
No, and I told you we're done.
All right. Well, look, Charles, you don't have to answer any more questions today, okay? But you do need to stay at the station for just a little while longer, right? Now, we are almost done, and then you can go home, all right?
Whatever, that's fine.
All right.
Okay, that went somewhat well, I guess. But now we got both he and Emma wanting to lawyer up. I think we're at the end of our rope here. We need to make a decision. There is a lot to consider here. Many possibilities of what could have happened, but ultimately, there is only one chain of events that's correct. You've got plenty of evidence and footage to steer you in the right direction. I trust you to put the pieces together. But let's make sure we get this right. First, I want you to look things over carefully and let me know who you think committed this murder. Once we've nailed that down, we can discuss things further. All right. Take your time and get back to me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey. Okay, so you think Rebecca killed Daniel, huh? You know, I actually think you hit the nail on the head here. I do trust your judgment. And even though she doesn't seem like she has it in her, it really does seem that she's the one that killed him. Now, I know you looked everything over carefully, so I'm sure you have a fairly decent picture of what actually happened. even if there are a few holes that still need to be filled. But listen, what I'm about to say stays between you and me, okay? Considering everything that went down with her mom and Daniel, and the reasons Rebecca would have for killing him, it's still most likely murder. She may be able to get out of this in court, but she could very well end up in prison for a very long time. And honestly, I'm not sure that she deserves that. Her life could be ruined at such a young age. Now, what I'm about to say can get us in some pretty deep shit. Maybe even fired. But I can always claim that we didn't find enough probable cause to make an arrest. We can let her go home. And if we're pushed to continue the investigation later, well, then we'll deal with it at that time. But for now, we can let her go. I'm really not sure what to do here. This whole situation is just really complicated. Now, your decision-making has been great so far, so I'll follow your lead on this one as well. Think things over. Give me a call back and let me know if you want to move forward with charging Rebecca, or if you want me to let her go. I'm willing to accept responsibility for our actions, regardless of what we do. Just be prepared to do the same. All right, talk to you soon. Hey. Okay, let's charge Rebecca. I'm with you. Like I said earlier, I think you hit the nail on the head here. All the evidence really does point to her. It's just unfortunate that she's gone and screwed up her life at such a young age. But I guess actions do have consequences, right? Look, I'm sure this was a hard decision to make. I respect your judgment. Sometimes we just gotta do what's right, no matter the circumstance. I get it. All right, let me grab Rebecca and formally charge her. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. So look, Rebecca, after reviewing all of the evidence and the statements made today, I am officially charging you with the murder of Daniel Murphy. Now, Rebecca, did you hear what I just said to you?
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah.
So is there anything else that you would like to add to your statement today before we take you into custody?
I didn't mean to kill him. I didn't mean to kill him. It was an accident.
So Rebecca, I don't understand what do you mean by you didn't mean to kill him? Oh, come on, Rebecca. No more games, no more lies, all right? Just tell me exactly what happened, please.
Okay. Me and my dad were driving back to his house the night that Daniel threatened to kill me and my mom. I told my dad I wasn't comfortable with him having a gun inside the house because I thought he was going to do something stupid and try and kill me or my mom, kill both of us. So I told my dad that I wanted to go to the house in the morning and check if Daniel was there. And if he wasn't, I wanted to go inside the house and try and find the gun and take it. Obviously, my dad was not okay with that idea, and he told me not to do it, and I told him that I wouldn't do it. I told him I wouldn't go.
But you didn't listen to your dad, and you went there anyways.
Yeah. I went back the next morning, kind of early, I think it was between 8:30 and 9. I was just checking to see if he was there, and when I checked, his car wasn't in the driveway like it usually was. So I thought, okay, this is the perfect opportunity. And I didn't want to be seen on the front security camera, so I went through the back. Like I said, I thought he wasn't home, but to my surprise, he was. He was passed out on the living room couch. There was alcohol everywhere. But the gun was sitting right there on the coffee table. So I went to grab the gun. And when I grabbed the gun, that's when he woke up. And it happened, everything happened really fast. He got up, he charged at me, he was grabbing me, he was trying to grab the gun. And somehow, we just ended up in the bedroom. And we struggled for a few seconds, and the gun went off. And he dropped, and he stopped moving. And that was it. That's what happened.
And then you placed the gun in his hand to try and pass it off as a suicide. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I did. I tried to make it look that way.
And I'm assuming that you wiped down the gun to remove the fingerprints. Is that correct?
Yeah. I used my shirt the best that I could. And before that, I tried to put things back that had fallen during our struggle because I didn't want it to look like anybody else was in the house that day. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if it was going to work. I was scared. And as I was putting the gun in his hand, I heard the front door open. I didn't know who it was. I thought maybe it was my dad and that maybe he had come to try and find the gun and take it instead of me, but I honestly didn't know who it was. So I left. I left as fast as I could, and I went out through the back door, and that's why the back door was left open. I didn't have time to shut it. I was scared.
So did you tell your parents about all this?
No, I haven't told anybody. You're the only person who knows, and it was an accident. It was a genuine mistake. I didn't mean to do any of this. I didn't mean to shoot him.
Well, look, I am sorry for everything that you had to go through, okay? I really am. Now, the unfortunate truth is that I do have a job that I have to do, okay? And that means that we do have to take you into custody. Now, you will be able to, explain all of this in court, and I do hope that things will actually, go your way. I do. All right, but for now, yeah, I need you to stand up, all right? I need you to stand up for me, okay? I need you to turn around, okay? I need you to put your hands directly behind your back, all right? You stay just like that, Rebecca. All right, you can sit down.
I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do this. I'm sorry. It was an accident. And you have to believe me when I say that.
I know. Now, I am going to go get some officers, okay? And they will be able to escort you out of here properly, all right? All right.
Well, it looks like we successfully solved this case, huh? Great job. All your hard work today really paid off. But wow, if she was telling the truth just now, then what happened to her is pretty screwed up, and sadly something she's going to have to live with for the rest of her life. But again, that's if she was actually telling the truth. Was it self-defense? I have no idea. The only person that knows that for sure is Rebecca herself. But what we do know is that she is the one that pulled the trigger that killed Daniel Murphy. The rest is up to the courts to decide. Again, Great job. Thank you. All right. Until next time, my friend. I'll talk to you later. Bye.